Hello, we are two as one.
I'm Andres.
And I'm Karin. Today we're going to talk about ego versus intuition. And I have a little message for you right here. Your intuition, if you've never tuned into your intuition before, you can start anytime. And this is something that I teach all of my clients as much as I can, because your intuition has been patiently waiting for you to listen to its loving guidance. Why not start listening now? Ask yourself, what do I need today? And then take a few quiet moments to just hear what comes to you.
I'm learning a lot about the intuition with you. That was something that in my past, previous life, never was part of my environment, part of my knowledge. I believe I was more reactive and with following, the God's guidance and all of. But I'm learning a lot of intuition with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I remember that when we've been trying to sell the property, and tell us about that experience. That was beautiful.
So here was the thing that we built a new house, and so the house that I had before, we put it on the market, and even though the market was high, we weren't getting the price that we thought we should get. A lot of the people, because this area was very unique. Long story short, we decided, it's like, you know what, there's a lot of cash flow that we can get from this property. So we rented it out for a year, and those people moved out. It was time to, do something else, and there was a new property manager with that company. And I'd just spoken with her about, what we needed to do to get it back rented again. And then I got off the phone with her, started driving, and all of a sudden I got this message that just, I call them God messages, when they just dump into my head. It's very clear exactly what needs to be done. I'm told a message, and it was sell now. And I knew also from the market, because now the market had gotten even higher. And what do you know? It was the perfect time to sell. We made a lot of money, more than we would have before. And so it's beautiful.
I love, to me, it's very fascinating, the relationship that you have with God, because it's no, seriously, it's so innocent. It's so beautiful. The interaction that you have. I mean, you don't need to have all the Bible knowledge in order to have a relationship with God. And when you listen God talking to you and you put in action, that's something that well, it's kind of difficult for the rest of us to do it. We believe, but when you get the message, and you always have the tendency to question this. This is something real, and it's very interesting. I didn't know that the voice of the intuition comes first than the ego.
Yeah.
So
yes.
That was fascinating to know.
Yes, it's beautiful, and this is why, even with testing, also, like when you have to do tests for school and all that, that's what I was always like, the first, not always, but generally, the first thing that comes to you is like, just go with it. Same thing with just about anything else. Because so many people, they struggle with the making decisions, like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Let me ask all of my friends and all of my family and this, that, and the other. And when I have clients that come to me with some of these issues, there's nothing wrong with asking your peers and your family and whatnot. The one thing, though, to keep in mind, that if it's not clearing things up for you, sometimes it's muddying things up more. And now you're having the opposite happen of what you're trying to do. And what happens then is it can just make life a lot more difficult. And there's this beautiful exercise that I learned from the Heart Math Institute. They do a lot of studies on heart-brain connection and how to get into heart brain coherence, where everything, all parts of your brain and your heart are all communicating with each other. And that's when you are in flow mode. And so, if you have a question like that, such as, should I go on this trip that I'm thinking about planning, and you can't decide, oh, the money and the time and uh, time away and all the things, then do this. Try this out. Instead of having it bang around in your head, because that's exactly what happens, worry, 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 uh, drop down into your heart and ask your heart. And it can be helpful to literally put your fingers over your heart so that it can bring your focus down there. And just be quiet for a moment and notice, what do you get? Maybe it's words, maybe it's a feeling, maybe somehow or another, because now you're getting out of all of the noise that happens in your head, and the heart is much more pure, um, and not programmed the way our brain is. And you might not like the answer that it gives you, because, oh, it might be inconvenient, this, that, and the other, especially when it comes to a relationship.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but I don't want to leave.
But I
well,
like this person.
yeah, we'll get more into that in a little bit. And that's where the ego then comes in and starts to argue with you. And it's like lots of arguing going on. And we all know, when we've had the gut feeling ourselves and we ignored it, what usually happens? Your gut was usually right 99.9% of the time. All right?
So it's fascinating to me. I never could imagine that we can put at the same show, in the same video, about the intuition and ego. How, it seems like it's two voices talking into your head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had clients tell me that, that they will be almost like see, the little devil talking on one shoulder, and then they'll see and hear my voice on the other shoulder trying to tell them, you should listen to your intuition, or whatever the things I tell them.
Right.
So I've been joking about, I need to make some merch that says WWKD, what would Karin do? What do you guys think? Would that be good?
That could be interesting to know.
Right.
Yeah, where is the intuition somehow connected with the follow the gut? We usually listen this expression, just follow the gut. Intuition and follow the gut. It's the same. It's
Yeah.
could be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because we've also heard about the second brain, which is the gut, right? And there's again, a lot of it also has to do with the fact that you're getting out of your head, and because the brain is where all the programming is. Your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, the bullies, the friends, the exes, everybody.
The exes.
Uh-huh. Yes, all of them. And that is a big hot mess unless we've learned how to deal with and process those things, the trauma that we've been through, all the hardships, and because they can be talking still, and then even though you are hearing your own voice, it's really not your own words. It's the bully talking, the abusive ex that's talking in your head, and it's now your voice, so you don't know the difference. It's now been programmed into your head. So when we get out of our head and into our heart, into our gut, because there's a vagal nerve. It's the longest nerve in the body that connects from the brainstem all the way down to somewhere down in your gut area, and it's very much affected by trauma. Do I feel safe? Do I not feel safe? The fight or flight system, which is why when people feel anxious, many times they'll have a stomach ache. I have this whole knot in their stomach. So yes.
I found this interesting now that I want you to help us to understand. So it says, trusting your intuition in relationships can be challenging, especially if you have the tendency to ignore or suppress your instincts. And it can also be linked to past trauma or mistaken by anxiety. Anxiety?
Anxiety.
Anxiety.
Yeah, okay.
So, is the trauma uh, in the past can affect the intuition?
Yes.
How?
So, couple different ways. One is, so let's say I was in a relationship where I was, told all kinds of ugly things, in a controlling relationship, and now I'm out of there. And what happens now is that that experience is stored dysfunctionally, where there's a lot of hot wires that get triggered easily, and that then is, maybe I I see you and you are just kind of casually standing there and, in your own world thinking, and then you give me a look, but somehow about that posture and the look and the facial expression or whatever, because you're looking serious, you're not mad or anything, but sometimes when you're looking serious and deep in thought, you can have what they say for women, resting bitch face, right? and and I can interpret it wrong, especially because I'm already sensitive in that area. It's like, oh my God, what is he thinking? He's thinking that he's getting ready to get mad at me. He's probably thinking about that discussion we had last night, and it's just a matter of time. And now I am making stories in my head, and that's because there's trauma that hasn't been processed, so it's still raw. It doesn't matter if it happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if it still has these raw nerve endings, it's going to affect me. Another thing could be maybe from a childhood. And, I know I dealt a lot with that of, uh, probably some abandonment, rejection, whatever kind of things from when my dad died when I was young, and then we moved countries. So a lot of big changes, a lot of loss of friends. I was daddy's little girl, all those things. And then, growing up, yeah, I felt very lonely, and I was very much looking for connection, for to have somebody who was in my life that was for me. And so I was, this happens a lot where I would then maybe ignore certain kinds of behaviors or accept behaviors that weren't very nice, or somebody throws little breadcrumbs of attention to me because I wasn't used to getting attention. I was like, oh wow, there's somebody that's paying attention to me a little bit. They might be doing other things as well, but they're paying attention to me here, and I really, really am craving this attention. And that's how many people end up in relationships, and that's it's that scarcity mindset. Um,
Wow, very interesting.
I'm telling you.
Am I giving you the enough attention?
You are. You do. You're wonderful.
Wow, that's really really interesting.
It is.
The brain is.
Well, and just to kind of pull it back to your question of how does trauma affect your intuition, is that you may then start to doubt your gut feeling because I chose to be with that person, and I felt all these warm fuzzy feelings because I really liked him, and yet I was hurt. So obviously I might tell myself that I can't trust my gut feeling, and this is what happens a lot. So then it's about learning to trust your gut again, trust your feelings. And also, what works best is when we also deal with and process those things that happen, whether it was childhood things or adult things, process the abusive relationship and get to a place where, because we often will accept all the awful things somebody told us. You know, oh, you're just a fat bitch. Oh, you're just a complaining, whatever kind of thing. And we accept all the negative things. We're often not very good at accepting the positive things, the compliments, like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, I love spending time with you. Your energy is so good. It's like, yeah, but I'm really a bad person because I've heard that so many times, and our brain sadly tends to latch to the negative things more than the positive things.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where's the intuition located? Where in our body? Where is it located?
Uh, well, I think you can say that it's in your heart and in your gut. However, well, yeah, because um, I really tell people to pay attention to how their body feels in different situations. Do you feel a little cringe? Do you feel muscle tightness? Do you, these are all defense mechanisms in our body, as opposed to uh, when I see you, when I'm hanging out with you, when I think about you and I'm not with you, it's like I get a little smile on my face. I get the warm fuzzies because I'm thinking about, times we spent. The warm fuzzies, they're usually right here in the chest by your heart, right?
So are you saying talking about the negative emotions? Are they emotions stored in some parts of our body?
Yeah, so now negative events, trauma does get stored physically on a cellular level in different areas of the body. That's why Bessel van der Kolk, you may know of the book, it's a very famous book, Your Body Keeps Score. And he talks exactly about that.
Mm.
And that's when I do EMDR with clients that I work with, where we're using bilateral stimulation and processing out whatever something's happened.
So someone having a chronic pain, back pain, could be an emotion?
It could be. It could be, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I actually have a client right now who said that every time there was something that she's needed to go and do something, there's a family crisis or whatever, she gets a backache. And sometimes it's debilitating, so she can't go. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's not to say that, of course, not all backache or different kinds of things are somatic. A lot of them are caused by other things. However, again, we're back to 80 to 90% of chronic illnesses are caused by mental issues, stress, unresolved trauma. So
It's interesting what it says over here about the ego. It says the ego analyzes the future and pushes you to plan for something that hasn't happened yet.
mm-hmm.
It revisits memories from the past to determine if you could have done something different in attempt to improve your future.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so it has a purpose, right? The ego.
It has apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
So where's the ego located?
I think
It's part of our brain, the frontal cortex, the first survival reaction kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, because I don't know exactly where it is, but it definitely is different parts of the brain. Because a lot of things are not necessarily located just in one area. Many times in multiple areas, and they communicate with each other. So I know that back here by the brainstem, I can't remember the name of it. That's where all information first goes to. That decides, okay, is this moment, does this feel safe or does it not? And that then triggers the response of, okay, I need to be on guard, or I'm safe. So now we can engage whatever other parts of the brain. So the ego, and because you were saying how the ego, the gut comes first with an answer, then the ego comes a few minutes later.
Yeah.
Right. It needs some time. Like, oh, let's
to process, because it seems like the ego tried to figure out, to find the memories in the past, situations or something, that in order to bring it back, and this is what happened when you did this.
Yeah.
So
that's prefrontal cortex. And so, we say it's the smarter part of our brain. It's not always the best.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me regarding to the ego. The ego is that survival instincts. We are perfect for our cavemen ancestors whose everyday life consisted of fight or flight responses. Today we have a life much more safe and organized. However, in our modern world, the ego continues to have full control for most people. This often leads to stress, anxiety, and depression. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy,
Wow.
huh? We need to tame that ego.
Time out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the beautiful thing that you also mentioned was that our intuition is our soul speaking to us,
Yeah.
and all it wants is it comes from a place of love, and it just wants you to live a happy, blissful life. And this is where you will also know. I'm always teaching my clients to pay attention to, okay, well, where do you feel that in your body? And when we're talking about something and it's like, oh, what should I do in this situation? And I'm always going, okay, well, what are the different options? And if there's some options that I know that I think of, it's like, oh, well, I throw that in there also. And but then I always ask, well, when you think about this option, what do you notice? What does that feel like to you? Oh, that feels heavy, and oh, I'm really tight, and this, that, and the other. Okay, well, all right, that's let's put that on the shelf. What about this one? It's like, oh, this one feels really good. I feel so much lighter. And when I think about this one, well, to me, that is a sign of your soul, your divine intelligence is telling you that this is the one that is the best for your soul. That's the God talking, right?
That's beautiful. You want to read this about today intuition?
All right. Your intuition originates from your soul. Your soul is the energetic part of you that is temporarily residing in your body and is connected to a higher intelligence.
As you just mentioned.
Your soul only knows how to experience love and wants to see you grow and enjoy life. It sends you messages to assist you on your path and gently guide you towards your greatest good. It can be experienced as a gut feeling, a gentle nudge, a tingling sensation, an inner knowing, or an audible voice that you hear speaking. There we go. That's
So we may say the intuition is the the proof that the love of God talking to us, and
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And actually, I love that paragraph because that to me is what I feel like is my entire purpose here on this planet, for to help guide people through to find out what is your highest and best that life that's going to make you happy.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I found this very cool as well. The why of the intuition. So your intuition's only motivation is for you to thrive and enjoy yourself in this time life.
Mm.
It wants you to experience joy and see the love in all things.
Mm.
That's
Wow.
beautiful,
That is beautiful.
right?
Yes.
It's love is the key.
Which I think also goes back to, how do we get to that is by taking some quiet time, right, to reflect. Give yourself time to reflect, to pay attention to your body. What are you noticing? What are the signs in your body?
That's actually that you went to this the past Monday to have this class, and they've been talking about that as well, right?
Oh, yeah, somewhat.
It's somehow connected the time you put on yourself, the
Oh, yeah.
quiet time, the food,
Mm.
the meditation, yoga, how
That was the anti-inflammatory lifestyle.
right?
So all those things actually do reduce your inflammation in your body. Another the four things that you can do to help increase your intuition, like I was saying, practice mindfulness, spending time, quiet time, reflecting, paying attention to your body, like I was saying. That's number two. Number three is reflecting on your experiences. I think it's a really great idea to journal, to spend a little time. Don't kind of obsess about it, but to reflect on it, to like, huh, okay, so this is how, when my dad did this and made this comment, and my parents had this argument, and then I got into this relationship. That I can see now how that all worked together. How one thing led to another type of thing, and just to reflect on it so that you can put it to rest in some way, and rather than take it as something that's um, you know a negative thing. Like that's just part of your learning experience. And then the last one is surround yourself with positive people. We all know how that is something that people who are positive and supportive, and that just helps to build a safe space where you can trust yourself. And it also becomes more proof that, okay, I chose to spend time with this person. They're positive. I had a lot of great experiences with this person. So it must be proof that my intuition was right, right?
Definitely. So, do you think the if is this voice talking very low in your head, the intuition telling you something, and you decide to ignore, to don't pay attention, it's something that is just gonna vanish, or it's gonna be this boss gonna come, this voice gonna come once in a
Louder.
while,
Yeah.
louder, and then you're gonna start to feeling um,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great question, because that's where I see that a lot of people that come to me say, "Oh, I have all this anxiety. Oh, I have this anger problem," and this is where the things like the pet peeves also comes in. But if you ignore it, because a lot of people, they've learned how to ignore and suppress all those physical sensations and the intuition and the thoughts that are coming up, because like we were talking about before, he's like, well, but I really like him. Oh, but I can't afford to live on my own. But we have a child together, and all those things. And the longer that you're staying in a situation, whether it's a job or a relationship, the louder it gets. It builds up. That's where the resentment comes in, the anger comes in, the anxiety, and the depression. And again, it might end up turning into something physical. Uh,
Wow.
Chronic headaches, tight shoulders, uh, chest pain, heaviness in your chest because, the anxiety is in there, and the stomach aches, and all kinds of things. Trouble sleeping, which is sacred.
Right.
Don't mess with your sleep. Yeah. So it's going to kick you in the ass in a long, drawn out way. The longer that you decide to ignore, and it might end up kick you in the hospital at some point or another. So I think it's a good idea to listen. It's always, can be more complicated, but that's again where this is the longer that you have ignored your intuition. So the sooner that you learn how to listen to your intuition, the sooner you will learn how to weed out those people who aren't good for you. The sooner you'll you won't have an extended long relationship with somebody that is not good for you. You will know how to just spend more time with people that are good for you, that your intuition says, yay, I love these people, I feel good after I've been with these people. And your life is going to be so much better. I tell you what, I wake up on a daily basis in awe of my life. So I'm not just telling you or suggesting to you to do these things, because I do them myself, and I just look at the life that I've created. I've created my own practice, private practice, where I'm my own boss. So I don't deal with all the stupid people that don't do their job and all whatnot. I get to choose who I want to work with, and it's a beautiful thing. And it was hard for many years. I eventually attracted this wonderful man into my life, and just, man, life is so good, and that's what I want for all of you.
Yeah, definitely. Life is better when you find your
Mm.
your your right one.
Oh, yes, I'm so glad you finally did, because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you've
It's so beautiful. You know, your house is a sacred space that you are supposed to get the love that you need, the peace, and it's nothing more beautiful than the time that you arrive home after a long day. And if you don't find those beautiful things in your house, in your home, in your palace, where else you gonna? It's very difficult. So yes, I'm grateful that we have that.
yes. And that, my dear friends, I think it wraps up our ego and versus intuition episode here. Let us know, what are some of your experiences. How
Yes.
have you? What are the times that you've listened to your intuitions? What are the times you ignored it, and what happened? Uh, Maybe where has your ego sometimes come in and helped you? And any other questions you have, and as always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share with somebody that you think might benefit from the tips and tools that we shared today. And other than that, go out and
Sure.
shine your beautiful inner light.
So yeah.